He was one of the highest-paid athletes in the world, but just a few years after, Ronaldinho was behind bars in a foreign country, with just $6 in his bank account. How did this legend lose everything? This is the shocking downfall of Ronaldinho. So like to our channel because we will bring more topics like this, so if you don't want to miss any updates, then subscribe now. Born as Ronaldo de Assis Moreira on March 21, 1980, Ronaldinho grew up in a poor neighborhood. His father, João, worked at a shipyard and part-time at a football club, while his mother was a nurse who held the family together. When Ronaldinho was just 8 years old, his father died from a heart attack in their swimming pool. It was a devastating blow for young Ronaldinho. His older brother, Roberto, had already made it as a professional footballer and became his role model. By the age of 10, Ronaldinho was being called a genius in his local football circles. He wasn't the fastest or the strongest, but what he had was pure magic in his feet. He could dribble past anyone, make defenders look like fools, and do it all with a smile. He joined the youth academy of Grêmio, one of Brazil's top clubs, where coaches immediately recognized they had something special. By 13, he scored 23 goals in a single youth match. It all began when Brazil won the Under-17 World Cup. After that tournament, everyone could see Ronaldinho was destined to be the next great star. And the fact that he shared his name with a Brazilian legend only made things more exciting. Thanks to his success in the competition, he earned his first matches for Grêmio, making headlines again after scoring the winning goal and humiliating Brazilian legend Dunga twice in the final of the Gaucho Championship, with both moments replayed endlessly across the country. At the same time, his older brother Roberto was ending his career at Grêmio due to a knee injury. Rather than risk losing everything, Roberto chose to move to Europe, cashing in before retirement. In just a few months, Ronaldinho's fame skyrocketed, earning him a place in the 1999 Copa America. Brazil lifted the trophy, and even though Ronaldinho was mostly used as a substitute, he impressed everyone. The tournament became a stepping stone, as just a week later, Brazil qualified for the Confederations Cup. There, Ronaldinho delivered his first true world-class performance, scoring 6 goals in 5 matches, winning both the Player of the Tournament and Top Scorer awards, even though Brazil lost the final to Mexico. The following year, he kept improving, with a stunning record of 14 goals in 21 league matches for Grêmio. This earned him his first big move, a free transfer to Paris Saint-Germain, arranged by his brother, who had now become his agent. Back home, many felt bitter that Grêmio hadn't received a transfer fee. Roberto even secured his own move to France with Montpellier, but soon retired at 31 to dedicate himself entirely to managing Ronaldinho's career. At PSG, Ronaldinho joined stars like Nicolas Anelka, J.J. Okocha, and Mauricio Pochettino. But his first taste of European football was challenging. He was used mostly as a substitute and clashed with the coach, who accused him of being distracted by Paris's nightlife and losing focus on football. Still, in Brazil, Ronaldinho had cemented himself as a starter, earning his first chance to play in a World Cup. From the start, he was unforgettable. In the group stage, he scored and assisted in just 45 minutes against China. After assisting again against Belgium, he went on to play one of the most memorable matches of his career. Against England in the quarterfinals, Brazil were down 1-0 at halftime. Then, in just 12 minutes, Ronaldinho assisted Rivaldo, scored a legendary 40-yard free kick, considered one of the greatest goals of all time, and received a red card. Brazil still advanced and went on to win the World Cup, making Ronaldinho a world champion at just 22 years old. Those 12 minutes summed up his entire career, a wild, thrilling roller coaster of unforgettable highs and unexpected lows. It's easy to point out that regardless of his troubles, his career so far was an unprecedented success. At just 22, he had already lifted the 3 major international trophies. But maybe that was why his downfall started so early. Some could argue he had already completed football, that there wasn't much else to fight for. And that might just be why we didn't get to see him at his peak for very long. In his second season at PSG, things began getting even worse. Sure, Ronaldinho did score the goal of the season and earned himself a standing ovation in the cup final, but they still lost that final, and PSG finished in the bottom half of the league table. Ronaldinho had a toxic relationship with the club and its staff. It wasn't working out for either side, so they began plotting his exit. But before that, he suffered one final disappointment, as Brazil was knocked out of the Confederations Cup in the group stage, shocking everyone. Still, the race to sign him didn't lose any traction. Barcelona's president had promised the fans he would sign one of Beckham, Henry or Ronaldinho. And with Beckham going to Real Madrid and Arsenal refusing to sell Henry, Ronaldinho became the obvious choice. Barcelona spent €30 million to sign the 23-year-old. Some could argue that out of the three, signing Ronaldinho was a bit of a gamble, as he didn't have the same global star power as the other two at the time. But the moment he put on the Blaugrana shirt, everything changed. It seemed destined to be. He dazzled the entire world, producing something special with every touch of the ball. Those aren't my words, but actually something Frank Rijkaard said right after his debut. With 8 goals and 4 assists in his first 14 matches, it was an incredible start. But then an Achilles tendon injury sidelined him for a month, and his absence was enough to dent Barcelona's form, dropping them all the way down to 12th place. Though that might sound absurd now, back then, Barcelona hadn't won the league in 5 years and hadn't won at the Bernabeu in 7. Times were rough, and with results like that, Ronaldinho faced a huge challenge to rescue their season when he returned. In reality, once he came back, it seemed effortless. He instantly lifted the team, averaging a goal every 110 minutes for the rest of the season. He helped them finally get that long-awaited win at the Bernabeu, and finished just 5 points short of the title. They might have finished second, but back then it felt like a win. Even the great Xavi Hernandez would go on to say that Ronaldinho had started the rise of Barcelona. The following season, things got even more incredible. Now, with Samuel Eto'o and Deco by his side, Ronaldinho completely dominated the league. By New Year's, Barcelona were already 10 points clear at the top, and the football world was in awe. Everyone could see Ronaldinho had magic like no one else. In just over a year, he had gone from a troubled wonder kid to legendary status, one of the greatest of all time. And so, he was rewarded by being named FIFA World Player of the Year. Regardless, the year wouldn't go exactly as planned. Barcelona did win the league for the first time in 6 years. But getting knocked out in the Champions League round of 16 by Chelsea left everyone feeling like it had ended too soon, especially for Ronaldinho, who scored twice against Chelsea and delivered a legendary performance, forever remembered for his iconic toe-poke goal from outside the box. To make up for that disappointment, Ronaldinho went on to win the Confederations Cup that summer, being named Man of the Match in the final and scoring in all 3 knockout games. Adding those goals to the ones he scored in 1999, he became the tournament's all-time top scorer. As his 3rd season at Barcelona began, Ronaldinho hit some of the best goal-scoring form of his career. 13 goals in 12 matches at one point, even scoring twice at the Santiago Bernabeu in a game where the Real Madrid fans gave him a standing ovation. And they do that. The only other player to receive such an honor was Diego Maradona. These achievements earned Ronaldinho his 2nd consecutive FIFA World Player of the Year award, and the ultimate crown jewel of his career, the Ballon d'Or. This time, he managed to keep his form through the second half of the season, especially in the Champions League, scoring the decisive goal against Chelsea in the round of 16, finding the net again in the quarter-finals, and providing the assist for the only goal in the semi-final against AC Milan. He had scored or assisted against every opponent in that Champions League campaign, finishing with 7 goals and 4 assists in 11 matches. In the final, Belletti became the unlikely hero as Ronaldinho failed to score. But Barcelona finally lifted the Champions League trophy for only the 2nd time in their history after 14 years of waiting. With performances like that, Ronaldinho easily claimed his 3rd consecutive UEFA Player of the Year award, cementing his reputation as a big-game player. To top off the season, Barcelona also beat Real Madrid to the league title by a staggering 12 points. Heading into the 2006 World Cup, it seemed destined to be Ronaldinho's tournament, the one that would solidify him as a contender for the greatest of all time. But Brazil played like a team that had grown complacent, lacking hunger. The whole squad seemed to reflect the mindset Ronaldinho himself would carry into the coming years. Right after Brazil's shocking quarter-final elimination by France, managing just 1 shot on target, despite having Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Adriano, Robinho and Kaká, Ronaldinho's first major off-field scandal erupted. Days after disappointing the entire nation, he and Adriano threw a massive party in Brazil. The backlash was brutal. Fans took to the streets in protest and even burned a statue of Ronaldinho to the ground. That burning statue became a powerful metaphor for his career. From that point on, the endless joy and magic he brought to the pitch began to fade. The flashes of brilliance grew fewer, often overshadowed by his off-field antics and shady business dealings. Barcelona ended that season without a trophy, leading to Frank Rijkaard's sacking. When Pep Guardiola arrived, he made it clear both Ronaldinho and Deco had to go, believing they would be bad influences on a young Lionel Messi. At the time, the board tried to make the situation seem less severe, claiming that a move away from Barcelona would benefit both parties, and that Ronaldinho simply needed a new challenge. But eventually, with his move to AC Milan, the truth began to come out. Ronaldinho said he never wanted to leave, as he was excited to see his partnership with Messi grow even more. Later, the board was quoted admitting that they believed Ronaldinho was past his prime and would never return to his former level. And honestly, this wasn't news to anyone. Since 2007, newspapers and fans had been mocking Ronaldinho for his weight. As his transfer became more likely, there were even jokes that AC Milan was replacing the Fat Ronaldo with the Fat Ronaldinho, calling the club a retirement home. Rumor had it that AC Milan didn't even want to sign him. They only did it because Ronaldinho's brother kept pressuring them, and they wanted to maintain a good relationship with him since they were expanding their scouting network in Brazil, where his brother was an important figure. Still, Ronaldinho joined an AC Milan in the middle of a rebuild. The legends from their early 2000s glory days, Maldini, Nesta, Gattuso, Inzaghi, and Shevchenko, were nearing retirement. The squad also had young talents like Pato and Kaká, and other veterans like Pirlo and Beckham, who understood how Ronaldinho felt at this stage of his career. His first season looked rather hopeless, but after a managerial change, his second season brought a spark of hope. Ronaldinho finished as the league's top assist provider with an impressive 18 assists, along with iconic performances, such as a goal and an assist against Manchester United and a brace against Juventus on the final match day. It was clear what was driving him. He wanted to be in peak form for the 2010 World Cup. After such a strong season, many believed he deserved a place in the squad. But Coach Dunga decided not to call him up, leading to conspiracy theories that this was revenge for Ronaldinho, humiliating him in one of his first ever matches as a teenager. However, Ronaldo, Robinho, Adriano, and Pato were also left out. Given Dunga's strict personality, it seemed more likely that he was simply done with players who preferred partying over playing. Once again, Ronaldinho proved him right. He had gotten back into shape during the season, but after learning he wouldn't go to the World Cup, he completely let loose, partying all summer. The tabloids had a field day, publishing photos of his overweight figure every time he was on the beach. He had become a laughingstock. Even with the arrivals of Ibrahimovic and Robinho, nothing convinced Ronaldinho to stay, and he started planning his next move. There were talks with LA Galaxy, where he could reunite with Beckham, and even rumors of joining Blackburn Rovers, recently bought by an Indian company planning ambitious signings, including Beckham on loan. But neither transfer happened, and Blackburn ended up being relegated that season, ironically enough. In the end, Ronaldinho took the more obvious path and returned to Brazil, but he quickly upset many fans by choosing Flamengo as his next team instead of his boyhood club Grêmio. In reality, it was once again his brother who sparked a bidding war and convinced him to sign for Flamengo. Once in Brazil, Ronaldinho actually performed impressively, especially considering his contract with Flamengo had a clause allowing him to party in nightclubs twice a week, regardless of training schedules. But even that wasn't enough to keep him there. The following season, the club went 4 months without paying him, prompting Ronaldinho to terminate his contract and join Atlético Mineiro just 4 days later. At Mineiro, he played even better, scoring 10 goals and assisting 15 in the league, helping the team qualify for the Copa Libertadores and earning the league's Player of the Season award. His form carried into the next season, with the club resting him during league matches to save him for Copa Libertadores games. The gamble paid off. Ronaldinho scored 4 goals and provided 7 assists in 14 matches, leading Mineiro to their first ever Copa Libertadores title. This included dramatic 2-goal comebacks in both the semi-final and final. He was named South America's Player of the Year and earned a place back in the Brazilian national team. But in classic Ronaldinho fashion, the success was followed by setbacks. Before the end of the season, he suffered an injury, missed 3 months, and eventually left Mineiro after playing only half a season, though he did win the Recopa Sudamericana. As a free agent, clubs lined up for him. Even Basingstoke Town from the 6th division of English football sent an offer. But Ronaldinho chose Mexico, joining Querétaro and leading them to their first ever playoff final. A year later, he returned to Brazil with Fluminense, but it turned into a disaster. Poor performances drew heavy criticism, and after just 2 months, he terminated his 15-month contract. This looked like retirement, though he continued playing futsal in India for a few years before officially announcing his retirement in 2018. That same year, his life began spiraling into chaos. His lawyer even stated, "He's an idiot. He was kept in a bubble since he was 14. His brother takes care of everything, and he just goes along." While harsh, it reflected the worrying reality that his brother controlled all his business affairs. In early 2018, rumors emerged that Ronaldinho had married 2 women at the same time in a ceremony at his mansion. Though he denied it, one of the women later sued him for her share of his fortune. Her mother even went on TV, claiming Ronaldinho had separate bedrooms for each woman and alternated nights between them. Their relationship ended when she discovered he had yet another mistress. The year grew even more bizarre. Barcelona cut all ties with him for supporting controversial Brazilian president Bolsonaro. He nearly ran for the Senate before he and his brother were prosecuted for illegally destroying part of a forest. Police raided his homes, seizing cars, paintings, jewelry, and passports. Authorities even froze his bank accounts to recover over $2 million in unpaid taxes and environmental fines, only to find $5 across all his accounts, sparking media reports that he was broke. In reality, he still had multiple shady business ventures, including a cryptocurrency pump and dump scheme using a coin named after him. More tax evasion charges and another environmental lawsuit followed after he built a fishing deck over a protected river. Police seized 57 properties and suspended his passport, prompting his brother Roberto to obtain fake ones so they could travel to Paraguay for what Ronaldinho thought was just a promotional event for his book. They were, of course, caught because, well, it's Ronaldinho. Of course, the authorities realized the passport was fake. This led to both Ronaldinho and his brother being imprisoned, but Ronaldinho still managed to make the most of his time there by joining a futsal tournament inside the jail. Naturally, his team won, supposedly taking the final 11-2, with Ronaldinho scoring 5 goals and assisting the other 6. Yet again, it seemed he didn't fully grasp the seriousness of the situation he was in. Why would you be playing football when you're locked up in a foreign country with your freedom at risk? Eventually, their appeal was accepted, and they were moved to house arrest in a hotel after paying $1.6 million in bail, along with another $160,000 in fines, which would ultimately secure their release. His lawyer later explained the situation, saying, "That statement sounds quite dark, especially now that 14 more people have been arrested after the case was linked to a money laundering scheme. Something Ronaldinho apparently knew nothing about. What do you think? Was his brother taking advantage of him? At times it seemed like he was just looking out for him, but now it's becoming very hard to justify." And just like that, the legend who once ruled the world's biggest stadiums was now stuck in a foreign jail, scoring goals for inmates instead of millions of fans. From a passport scandal to whispers of a money laundering ring, the story kept getting darker, yet Ronaldinho swears he had no idea what was going on. Was his brother protecting him all along, or using him? We may never know the full truth, but one thing's for sure, Ronaldinho will always be remembered for his magic on the pitch, even if life off it took him to the most unexpected of places.